Hi, my name is Megan Mitchell, and welcome to another episode of How to Train Your Human. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about narcissism, because this is a subject that's been very prominent in social media and mainstream media, and it's something on Facebook. There are a lot of groups that revolve around narcissism and narcissistic abuse. And so I wanted to clarify some things, because there's a lot of misinformation and well-meant but misconstrued advice that I feel is rather harmful to people who are in fact dealing with these difficult personality types and potentially even stuck in abusive relationships. So I wanted to explain a little bit about narcissism first in this video, and then in later videos I'm going to get more and more in depth, because this is a subject matter that has been vastly misconstrued and even misled by, well-educated psychologists and psychiatrists, and it's one of those subject matters that I feel is crucial for us to redirect how we think about it, because the route we're taking is quite honestly a self-destructive route, and I'll explain that a little bit in this video. So first I wanted to explain that narcissism is rated by psychologists on a spectrum of healthy versus unhealthy. So your healthy spectrum is stuff like self-care, confidence building, even boasting, like say you buy a new car, get a new job. That's still rated in the healthy, as long as you're not gloating. It's still considered healthy. What is considered unhealthy on the spectrum are your dark triad personality traits, like your psychopaths, your sociopaths, and your malignant narcissists. So the vindictive, the backstabbing, the smear campaigning, those are all behavioral traits that are considered unhealthy on the spectrum. So one of the things I wanted to point out is that we are in a society that promotes narcissism. For example, how easy it is just to get online and say something about somebody in a passive-aggressive way. So you're not naming names, you're not calling them out directly, but you're directing it in a passive-aggressive way towards them. Well, that's very narcissistic. And I think it's very destructive that we say, oh, well, they're, doing this and they're doing that, and you're only telling one side of the story. Well, you're engaging in your own narcissism. This is a human trait. We all have narcissistic traits. All of us. If you're human, you're a narcissist. It's just that simple. I know that's difficult to wrap your brain around, but if you think about it, if you boast about that new job, if you boast about that new car, if you go online and you're talking yourself up and you're doing things to attract attention, you are in fact feeding your own narcissism. So one of the other things I wanted to explain was empathy. Empathy is also rated on a spectrum. So I'm having to write this down so I stay on track. So narcissism and empathy go hand in hand. They're opposites of each other, and yet we all have narcissistic traits and empathetic traits. The thing is, though, we are all born with narcissistic traits, and we learn empathy as we grow. And this is because empathy is learned through experience. So say you do something like I just said, where you go online and you passively aggressively make a comment about somebody because they did something to you. And in reiteration, you don't get to experience how they feel about you doing that, unless they do it back to you. And so they, in turn, go online and post a passive-aggressive statement about you and your behavior. Well, how does that make you feel? Well, now you got what I like to call microdosing. You got a microdose of your own medicine, and you probably didn't really like the taste, because now it either does one of two things. You back off and you learn from it, or you continue to engage in the passive-aggressive behavior of, you know, eye for an eye, basically. Okay, so you're feeding the narcissism instead of the empathy. If you backed off and like, okay, well, maybe I should reflect on what I'm doing, then you would be learning a life lesson. That goes in with empathy. Empathy is learned behavior, and as a dog trainer, this is something I learned in puppies. Puppies also, because narcissism is an animalistic trait, and you have to remember that humans are in fact mammals, therefore we still maintain animalistic traits, and narcissism is one of those childish traits that we either indulge or we can nurture. And one thing I learned with puppies is that they love to boundary check. They love to test your boundaries. Oh, don't pee on the carpet? Okay, I'll pee on the carpet. Oopsie, my bad. And people do this too. You know, they like to, oh, don't do that. What, don't push this big red button? Beep. You know, my daughter does it to me all the time. Except, I can't control her actions. I can't control my husband's actions. I can't control my dog's actions. But I can control how I react to it. So, if, say, somebody does something that they know you hate, and every action gets a reaction. I'll put it that way. This is basic physics. Every action gets a reaction. So, if somebody does something that you hate, how do you react to the action? Do you don't do that, blah, 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 and get emotionally reactive? Or do you meet action with action, which is where, you know, it's almost like two rams. And they butt heads, they lock, but then they both back off. It's a test of strength, a feat of strength. So, but this is how we can both learn and teach empathy. And I'm going to get more and more into this in other videos. Right now, I'm just trying to hopefully hold your attention a little bit, because this is very, very intricate and very, very interesting, because being an animal behaviorist and a dog trainer and working with animals and then working with people and primarily with couples as I was training dogs, I learned that it was never ever the dog, and it was always the person, that they were just a mirror image of the owners and their lack of communication with each other. So I started to study interpersonal relationships, and then I started to get more and more interested into the root causes of narcissism, and quite honestly, it would vastly surprise you. And I'm surprised that no one else has really come across these concepts of human behavior, because they have been presented to us in so many different ways, in so many different perspectives, in so many thousands of years of ancient wisdom and knowledge, and we're still not picking up the pieces. I feel like I've been working on a puzzle that is like 5,000 years old, and I just so happen to find all the right pieces. So this is big, and I'm hoping that what I have to show you and teach you will catch on, because this could potentially be life-changing for a lot of people, particularly when they realize that you're not a victim and you're not the villain here either. You're not wrong when you feel certain things, when you're going through these situations, and that unfortunately, because of all of the trauma humanity has suffered as a whole, it has desensitized us in some ways that are bad. Like being able to empathize and actually feel what somebody else is feeling. And even though some of us have redeveloped that skill, it's not enough. Unfortunately, society tells us to be self-centered. But that is because it promotes self-love, which is good. You should love yourself. But that is also why I want to present this way, present these videos in this way, where you fully understand that narcissism is an animalistic human trait, and because it's a trait you have to accept in yourself in order for you to evolve. Because later on in these videos, I'm going to get into the underdeveloped self or undeveloped self, where you ignore these scarier or darker traits of the human soul, and instead get you to accept them and embrace them and understand them, so they're not so scary. And this will help in later videos when we get into your inner child and all that stuff. You'll start to really start putting these pieces together yourself. This has been a 9-year project for me. I've been researching and researching and researching and re-researching, because I have to make sure that my facts are still accurate and that this is easy for people to find. So I used to really delve deep into my research online. And now I typically only stick to the first page, because I know that's what most people typically do, is when you research something or you search something on Google, you only go to the first page. You know, people typically don't have the patience to keep searching and digging and digging. So, we'll end this video today just with indulging you in the fact that narcissism is an animalistic human trait, and it's something that you can see in most mammals, actually. I've also studied fish and reptiles and birds, and they also can tend to have these traits. So it's an animal trait. We are all animals. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty and delve deeper into the human psyche, because I think that this is really going to be eye-opening for a lot of you, because it will be humbling to remember our roots, where we came from, and how animals have played a huge part in our survival and our rise up the food chain to where we are today, and how we have completely disrespected our animal friends and completely forgotten our animalistic roots to such a degree that we have completely lost sight of what it means to be human. So that's what these videos are about, and why it's called How to Train Your Human. Because quite honestly, I think we have detached ourselves so much from what it means to be a human and what it means to be a part of this planet, that we have forgotten proper social skills. And so we're going to delve deep into this, and we're going to hopefully build a brighter future for our species and for this planet, because it's our only home. And I feel that humanity needs a wake-up call. And so I hope these videos will give you just that. And I will post them as quickly as I can. Sorry for my disheveled appearance. I have a 3-year-old who just went down for a nap, and I'm trying to rush through this video as quickly as I can, and try to make more. But it's typically through nap time, so I'm not going to put a lot of effort into video editing and all that stuff, just to let you all know. I think the message is a lot more important than the image. So Just bear with me, and I am going to make these videos as quickly as I can because I want to help you all as quickly as I can. Because believe me, it transformed my entire life to learn these secrets. And I'm not doing this in a way where you have to pay a membership or buy a book. I'm doing this in a way that's free for you because I want to actually help people. I'm not trying to give you little nuggets of information here and there at $40 a pop. You know, I actually downsized my entire life just so I could be able to do this. So I just keep reiterating that because of the sheer importance of what I have to deliver here. So I hope some of you watch these videos. I hope this takes off just because it's so fundamentally life-changing and important and beautiful at the same time, and how wrong we've been about each other and ourselves as human beings. And I just hope that you all stick it out with me and really watch these videos because these are big. And I just don't want to overwhelm your brain by giving it to you all at once. So I'm going to cut this short, and please join me next week. Probably every Monday I'll be posting a video, and I will try to post more if I can. I'm getting into the rhythm of this, and it's hard for me to put myself out there like that. So I am doing the best that I can. All right, thank you, and I will see you hopefully next week.